reminding me.
Oh, we're live. Yeah.
It says we're live. Exciting.
Now we're live. Well, I've been talking, and you know how I can talk for 5 minutes and even brought the guest up and everything. And Pam waited all that time on purpose to tell me. So, and we've had some technical difficulties, but we are ready to go. And you missed the compliment I gave you, Dragon Lair. So I'll tell you later. Did Bob get stood up? Kinda, but we're here now. So, our guest tonight is runs a rescue. He and his wife Brenda, and they rescue reptiles, and it's called Morphs and Milestones. Even though for some reason I put Morphs and Miracles on the teaser, but I went back and changed it, so I hope it changed.
I'll take miracles too. Miracles are good.
Yeah, well, I just had miracles on the mind, I guess. Who knows? Nothing to do with turning 68 last week, but anyway.
Congratulations.
But this is Nate, and you guys know Pam. She's camera shy. So I'm just going to bring him up and jump into it. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, members. And thank you, Huawei Sam, for putting up all of his links before we even started. So awesome. Thank you. So I'm going to go ahead and bring him up so he can introduce himself and show us who he's got and just take it away.
Absolutely. Am I supposed to be seeing any kind of comments or anything here, Bob, or should I just be seeing myself?
You can see comments if you know how to turn them on.
Ooh, I do not. How do I do that so that way I don't miss anything?
Are you on a phone or a computer or a pad or?
I'm on the Apple Pad.
No, I'm on my Apple smartphone.
Okay, I got comments right here. Okay, I can see a bunch of people are on, and maybe I can see some comments as they come up. I don't know. We'll see what happens there. I'll just get started like you asked me to.
Well,
right.
if you leave the did you leave the comments on then?
Well, when I hit chat, they came up with chat, and then I hit comment, and it shows comments on, and I guess I see them now. Yeah, I can see them coming on now.
Awesome. I'll bring your attention. He's real good. This guy's real good about watching his chat, and he loves to answer questions, guys. So, okay, you're good to go.
All right, rock and roll, guys. Well, first of all, thank you so much, Bob, for having me on. I really appreciate it. It is just a pleasure to be here and be invited. My name is Nate. I have a nonprofit. Me, my wife, and my daughter have a nonprofit called Morphs and Milestones. We are located in New Hampshire, and what we do is we rescue and rehabilitate reptiles in need, and the ones that we keep that we don't adopt out, we use as therapy animals, or they're actually classified as therapy aids, to work with individuals with special needs. That can be anything from autism, MS. It can even be PTSD for somebody who's been through a really traumatic life instance. We started our nonprofit roughly about a year and a half ago, a little bit earlier than that, I think. And the reason why we started it is my daughter, Autumn Rose, was in school, and she was having some difficulties with communication. She is nonverbal. And together, me and my wife actually developed a program to encourage her to learn ASL, American Sign Language. And that gave us the ability to be able to go ahead and communicate with her and be able to evaluate exactly what she needed, what she knew, and how she learned. I guess I kind of jumped into that real quick. I'll give you some of my real quick background. In the past, I've been a zookeeper at 3 different accredited zoos. Yeah, I started off being an elephant handler at 2 of the zoos, and I worked with a lot of large hoof stock. I've worked with some big cats all along that area, also at night, because zookeepers don't make that much glorious pay. I actually worked at an emergency animal hospital where we did see exotics, and I was the technician that handled them. So that gave me the gateway into working with reptiles. And I love it. It's amazing. It has helped my daughter I enjoy it, and I enjoy sharing them. So I guess that's who I am.
Well, I hope we get to meet Brenda. She's so knowledgeable and such a lovely person.
Hey,
Um,
we're at home right now, so we'll get Brenda on as well.
okay, but what about her? Has she always been into reptiles? How does that work out?
Babe, the wonderful folks here on the stream would like to know about you because you are very impressive, and they want to know if you've always been in reptiles.
I have not.
Okay, come talk to us. Come on over here. Scoot on over.
I'm social networking as well.
Hey, Brenda, are you the one person that liked my stream?
I don't know. I'm just trying to social. Yeah, hold on. I'll put that down.
Yeah. Come on, they want to know about you.
What do they want to know?
Well, they want to know who you are and have you always loved animals and reptiles? Tell the people. There's a bunch of people on there.
Well, I'm Brenda, and I wanted to be a vet when I was a kid. It just that just didn't work out, and then I met this handsome fella, and we ended up starting our nonprofit, and I was completely terrified of snakes, and now I absolutely love them. So it's funny that our first one, he changed that for me. That's why if you ever see me take him out, and I'm sure you will see me take him out at some point, I call him my son because he was the first. He is definitely the first love.
Yep. And guys, in the questions they were asking if Autumn can hear or not, she can hear. She is just nonverbal. Thank you so much for asking. Yeah, so she can understand English, Spanish, and some Brazilian style Portuguese.
And ASL.
Funny enough. In ASL, so we're super lucky with that.
She's a smart
one. And she loves her some sandwiches.
Oh, yes, she does.
Exactly. Every single night when we're on live, she comes in and asks for a sandwich. It is a sandwich, guys. It's all about multigrain bread and the mayonnaise sandwich.
Wow. Awesome. Well, I know this is kind of off the side, but I've asked you a couple times because I'm anticipating you doing so, but did you receive the funding that you had applied for?
We find out Sunday.
Okay.
So we're going to go to see the Herpetological Association, the New England Herpetological Association, and that will let us know if we get the funding where we can open the classroom/facility for people to come in and learn with reptiles.
Awesome.
That sounds awesome, yeah.
Yeah, I know you're going to get it. I know you will.
I hope so.
I hope so.
Fingers are crossed. Fingers are crossed.
All the fingers are crossed.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Now you go into schools too and do education, don't you? Not just the things you mentioned.
Yeah, babe. Why don't you talk a little bit about FCTS? Because you're super passionate about it and you love it. And you have a prettier voice.
You just say that.
She's actually prettier than you. No offense, but
yeah, no, I'll take it. She is 100% prettier. She is beautiful. I'm lucky.
We started a program. We started an exotic seminar program for kids in vet science programs. So we take our reptiles in and we teach them proper husbandry, handling, and he does a little bit of the vet side on how to hold them when they need to be medicated or
draw blood
or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's been really, really rewarding. That's been great.
Yeah, and it's a high school level kind of VOTEC program. And
we're going to elementary school in February.
Yeah, we do standard education as well, but the vet science stuff is just so cool because some of those kids travel up to 2 hours on buses and are on scholarships just to be involved in the vet science program. And it's super neat.
Somebody likes your beard.
Oh, do
I
they?
know, I like it too.
I know he's taking issue with me saying that Brenda was prettier than you.
It's like, are you kidding? Have you seen that beard?
Yeah. Thank you. Nothing but love to you. Nothing but love. Thank you very much. That's so cool. So cool. You're a handsome guy too, Bob.
Oh my God.
But we love working with the kids. We love teaching the young mind, seeing people turn around and go from, I don't want to touch a snake, I'm not really interested, I'm here for dogs and cats, to the end of the year. Especially with Brenda, she gets them to come and pick up the animals. Like the last time that we went to the vet science program, we had 5 groups of students all kind of making circles, and they were all handling different reptiles. And myself, Brenda, and Damien, our volunteer, we're all there, and we're just walking around as they're, basically trying out what we just showed them with the snakes, and it's like a fully functional lab. It's so cool. And some of these kids are so amazing. Like, I actually get frustrated, and I want our facility to be already set up and be bigger, so I can literally hire these kids for internships.
They're great.
They're amazing. They're amazing young minds.
I guess you're not able to film that since they're kids, but
Unfortunately not.
right.
No.
He always asked me, did you get any pictures? And I was like, I got a couple from like behind people's heads, but with legalities and stuff, we can't.
Yeah,
But it would be awesome if we could.
It would. We've gotten some pictures, and all those pictures come from the school that gets permission to put them up.
Yeah.
So as we get those work out pretty good. But it's one of those things that if we take, a video of a minor, we don't just need the minor's permission. We also need the adult's permission, or the guardian. So we don't have a ton of video. This last one, we had a member of the Herpetological Society come with us and bring tegus to play with as well.
Oh, cool.
Big ones.
Yeah.
It was little dinosaurs walking around.
Absolutely.
I'm afraid of tegus. I got bit by one of my leopard geckos, and those things can chomp down. I'm telling you.
Tegus are a little bigger than leopard geckos, but they're big softies. They're sweethearts.
Okay. I'm more of a snake guy, but I do have chameleon and the leopards and agamas. So
Nice.
You like the painted agamas?
I do. I like the painted agamas. I like the painteds. I like the clowns. I like all of them. I just think they're cool little lizards. Get out of here, fly.
Patrick says best wishes for more success. Oh, yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, do you have the facility? I know the answer to some of this, but do you mind talking about it? And I think you're doing it out of your house now, aren't you? Or
yeah, why don't you take it? Oh, you want me to do it? I can do it. So right now we're working out of our home. We live in New Hampshire, in a little hallmark town, I would call it. So we have like a meeting house, and then we have like a big almost what do they call it? They not the meeting house, the other one.
Town hall.
We have a town hall, and we have all these buildings, these historical buildings, and we've used some of them to do some of our actual educational stuff. But yeah, we're running this out of our house right now. The rescue indefinitely. We have 4 rooms that are full of reptiles.
I've lost my house, Bob. I've lost it.
but at least it's for an awesome cause,
Yes, that's true.
It is. We got iguanas and bearded dragons in one room. We got snakes in another room, and some small lizards, and then like we have leopard geckos as well. We have tortoises. We have a quarantine room. Everything that comes into Morphs and Milestones goes through a 30-day quarantine before it becomes available on the adoption site, or if it actually makes it to the level where we can use it for education or for therapy. We have 2 different grades. We have educational grade animals, and we have therapeutic grade animals.
Oh, and ambassadors, right? We're trying to start the ambassador exchange program.
Yep. If you close your eyes, he sounds like
Ryan, Pacific Northwest Aqua. He does, doesn't he? You're right.
I'll take it. Me and Ryan, I'll take that as a compliment.
What kind of tortoises do we have?
He's an awesome guy. Yeah.
We have Sulcata and Redfoot right now. We've had Russians in the past as well, but we've been able to place all them.
Well, now, if those sulcatas outlive you, I will be glad to help. I'll take some of them. So.
Oh yeah. we have. Well, you've seen. Have you seen Speedy on the live?
No.
I brought him on a couple times. So Speedy,
he
he's like
right
he sits right here.
He sits
he's
right
like
there,
this
facing
big.
screen.
So, Autumn's gonna inherit him, and then Autumn's kids are gonna inherit him. He's gonna be around for a long time.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Pam's laughing because she's 6 months older than me, and neither one of us need a sulcata, that's for sure.
I'll be honest, I don't think anybody needs a sulcata.
They are awesome though.
They're awesome, but I mean that's an animal you want to put in a zoological place or something like that. Some sort of garden. They're an animal that needs to be passed down.
Yeah, my great nephew got one at a repticon we went to a couple years ago, and we think but of course she was a tiny baby when he got her, and she's starting to look like a female. That's what we hope she is, but he dotes on her. She comes before his girlfriend, or whatever he's doing. She has to go out and graze, and they have a little farm they live on in the creek, and not that she's in that, but it's just very nice setting for a tortoise and safe. He stays right with her.
Very cool. Yeah, we actually have a pen in our front yard. Like I said, we live in a little tiny Hallmark town. Like literally everybody,
1,500 residents.
1,500 residents. Everybody knows everybody. And all the kids know when we put the tortoises out, they all come to my front yard and they sit there with the tortoises while the tortoises graze. So, and they're more than welcome to do so. They're all rescues too. None of those tortoises were animals that were acquired for doing the education. They were animals that were in deep need, and we just decided to give them a home.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I thought Brenda was about to say something. I'm bad about. I'm really expert at cutting.
I was going to say that New Hampshire is full of little Hallmark towns. That's all there is there.
Exactly.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I used to live on Cape Cod, and I would a few times I went up to New Hampshire to see some of the covered bridges and stuff. It's pretty cool. It's a nice state, pretty state.
Yeah.
And the fall colors are outstanding.
Oh, they're glorious. It's absolutely wonderful. It's beautiful. Yep. It's glorious out there during the fall. The winter is beautiful. When we get hit with the winter, it's pretty hard.
What determines if something is going to be put in the adoption side of things?
That's a really good question. So we got 2 flies in here that are just bugging us. So what ends up happening is we'll intake an animal and we'll get it in, whether it is a surrender or it is a rescue or whatever happens, it comes in. It'll go through quarantine, and what decides whether or not it goes to adoption? One, its health has to be up to par. It has to pass 3 different fecals, so we know that there's no intestinal parasites that need to be dealt with. After we do that, basically, we have so many slots for educational animals, for therapy animals, and then we also have another program where we bring animals on education loan. We didn't talk about that yet.
Master exchange.
Once that's full, everybody else defaults to adoptable as long as personality and health is in the right area.
Nice. Hey, you said 3 different. I'm an old nurse. I don't know if I told you that. So
no, not yet.
Old nurse. Yeah, for 42 years RN. But anyway, the ARC, the shelter that I'm director at that, but that means everything rolls uphill. So yeah, I'm very hands-on there. That's where I've been all day. But anyway, we just have, like the dogs and cats have to have one, microscopic clear fecal. Sometimes if like there were 2 new kittens today, like 3 months old, and they had 2 kinds of worms. I can't remember which 2 now, but anyway, the vet has us given Panicure for 5 days and then wants a fecal in 2 weeks, and that's an exception. But why 3 on turtles? Are they slowed? I don't know. I never heard that.
The three negative fecals comes back from my zoo days. That's something that was required where I started at Roger Williams Park Zoo in Providence, Rhode Island. 3 negative fecals before they were introduced into a habitat in case they would have something, like coccidia or hookworms or whipworms or any of those guys. If you go ahead and you hit it in the beginning and you make sure they're absolutely clear, then it's just an added level of safety. I don't want an animal to go from our area or our adoption corner and have any unforeseen additional issues. You probably know better than us. You can't guard against everything. Like, there's always variables with animals, but if I can do as much as possible, that's what I try to do.
Yeah, we have people sometimes 3 months later that call and say, well, this dog is becoming diabetic or is diabetic or has a bad knee. Well, our vet is awesome. She used to volunteer with us when she was going to get her bachelor's before vet school, and now she's a vet. So she has a place in her heart, and she's very detailed. But, if it's not there then, or she doesn't miss anything, so I can't say if it gets missed. But sometimes I have to suggest to people that, it's time for you to be the owner and to assume responsibility.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a real thing that you have to convey to everybody when they're taking on the responsibility of an animal. And even with reptiles, for me at least, it's such a huge responsibility, because a lot of these snakes can live 30 plus years. Right. Or like you were referring to, like the sulcata tortoise. So if something's going to leave us and move on, we have to make sure people are well aware of it. And it's just old habit. The 3 fecals is the old habit for me. I want to make sure everything's clean and good, because not everybody quarantines when they bring them into new areas. And I want to control all the controllables before they leave our facility.
Sam's, so I only have to live to 96 or 97. I figured it up back in the summer to live as long as all of my critters could. So anyway, Sam's got some questions now. That's Huawei. Yeah. Do you want to read them, Brenda?
It says,
yeah, she's smart.
Do they only rescue and adopt, or do you breed? Do you also breed? We don't breed.
Correct.
We get enough in with the rescues, so we don't breed at all.
Sometimes there's unsolicited breeding that happens, like with some of our false chameleons, but we don't intentionally breed any animal.
Okay. Yeah, the same with the dogs and cats. They have to be spayed and neutered before they come in, so they can't even be there on hold. They go directly from when people surrender them to the vet. So.
Oh, nice.
So there's typically,
yeah.
What is the easiest reptile to rescue?
What is the easiest reptile to rescue? That would be a corn snake. Hands down, no question about it. Every corn snake I get in that has any kind of issues is usually the biggest issue is they're underweight. And that's just because people don't have good feeding habits, or they haven't been able to financially take care of the animal. Corn snakes are super easy. They tame out so quick. Usually after the first session, they're just calm, cool, and collected. They're so durable, being a North American snake, that it's really hard to mess them up.
Yeah.
So corn snakes are definitely the easiest. Hardest animal would be like a chameleon or something that needs that very exclusive humidity. What else? You're doing real good at reading.
I gotta get closer because I can't see.
Yeah.
Animals are slower than mammals, and it usually takes longer to clear them for parasites. Oh,
that's true as well.
I kind of like corn snakes. I just got my 10th one from Sarah Snakes, and she is on our panel once a month, not a set date or the second week, just whenever. When I have an opening, I'll say, hey, can you come on? And she's amazing. She is an expert on corn snakes and morphs, and she's a breeder. And she's got sales on guys right now. I saw Jenny Lynn was lurking in here and working, and she had one from her. But this is the first one I've ever bought from her. I've smacked my credit card down every time she posts something that's really new, or that I just had to get the one she's calling a ghost, and I grabbed him. She has a brother, so she let me get him.
Tell us about the snake that you're holding.
Sure. Yeah. So this is Little Rain. Rain was a rescue. How long ago did we rescue Rain?
2 weeks, 3 weeks.
About 2 to 3 weeks ago, we rescued Rain. They thought she was a ball python. This is not a ball python. This is
No, what is it?
That's a Burmese python.
Okay.
So this snake will get upwards of 20 feet if it's fed correctly and kept correctly, upwards of 200 pounds.
Oh, wow.
Yep, these are the guys that you read all the horror stories in Florida about. But to tell you the truth, this snake is a pleasure to work with. They were scared of her. Burms, which is short for Burmese pythons, tend to be super vocal. They tell you what they're thinking. So if you wake them up and they're sleeping, they'll give you a real big loud hiss.
Loud.
It doesn't mean they're mean. It doesn't mean they're overly defensive. They just let you know what they think about you at that moment.
Wow.
And she was pretty much like this after handling her 2 times. She went from a very defensive snake to a very relaxed snake. They had the snake, unfortunately, it's about 4 feet long. It was living in a 10-gallon tank.
Oh,
Yep, on reptile carpet. And she had about 4 layers of stuck shed on her.
We've
Oh,
had her from-
no.
horrible.
Yep, so
Poor
she's still...
baby.
No, she's not fully clean yet, and I'll see if I can show y'all some. But I don't like to disturb her when she's being so good. But she had 4 layers, particularly on her head and
And her
covering
eyes.
her eyes. So when we got her,
Oh.
when we got her in, she was mostly blind. She has a little bit of light ulcerations to the top of her corneas, but I think they will go ahead and get repaired. But she is just a pleasure to be around. Just a normal berm, just a pretty berm. She's a good girl. She knows I'm talking about her.
What's she eat?
Rats, small rats at this size. So frozen thawed, I feed everything frozen thawed. I don't feed anything live. Her first food was a weaned rat, which is a little bit smaller because I like to start them off light and easy. And then her next one was a small rat, and the one after that will be a small as well. We got some comments coming in.
Have you ever been on television?
Have I ever been on television?
Mm-hmm.
I've been in the newspaper.
You haven't been on TV.
I was on TV when I was 18 years old for about 3 seconds. When I worked at Roger Williams Park Zoo, we were getting the elephants ready
We're not
for
talking about the ancient times, babe.
the ancient times when we were getting the elephants ready for ultrasound to see if they could be artificially inseminated. Besides that, I've never been on TV.
So what kind of what do you have now that you use in your classes and stuff? And what's your favorite?
My favorite individual of all time is a really big corn snake named Cheeto. He is plain Jane, just a nothing special as far as like morphs or anything goes like that. He's just a good tolerant boy.
Very tolerant.
So he is the best one. He is one that we also use with folks with tremors or Tourette's or MS. He's one of them. We have a ball python named Bruno, which is exceptionally good, him as well as King. I got a big old pine snake that I'm rehabbing that I started using, and he's going to end up being a therapy animal. He's pretty cool. I don't know. We're pretty eclectic. We got a little bit of everything. We got everything from super dwarf retics to...
We don't take that to school, though.
No, we don't take them to school yet. Well, we can't take them to Mass because they're illegal in Mass.
We can take her, though.
We can take her. A lot of different python species. I have Woma pythons, which are really cool Australian pythons. And the cool thing about them, one or two of the cool things, one, they don't have heat pits, so they're visual hunters. And the other super cool thing about them is they're immune to all known venom, which is really cool. So they eat everything out there.
They're asking, why do we feed for thawed?
Oh, that's a really good question. We had a question that said, why do we feed frozen thawed? All the animals that are in our collection, I think we have 2 animals that are endangered species, but they're legal to be here, obviously. But none of these animals are going back into the wild. And so I'm of the thought that I like all animals. You can bring me a field mouse, and I'll probably like that and play with that. You can bring me a cow, I'll hang out with that. You can bring me a 6-foot monitor lizard, and I'll go swimming with the thing. I don't like to see anything in pain. I don't like to see anything distressed. I can offer other forms of enrichment for my animals. That's my thought and belief system. It doesn't mean it has to be everybody's. So I don't like to see animals suffer. I don't think it's a necessity to have an animal have a happy life, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Is there, are you able to show us a couple of others?
Of course I can. Yeah, I can.
Oh,
What do you guys want to see?
Here, let me bring out Cheeto for Bob.
Oh, okay. Brenda's gonna bring out Cheeto, my big
Awesome.
corn snake. Let you see that big boy. And what else do people want to see? Ball pythons. What do y'all want to see? Let me know.
I usually have one of my ball pythons around my neck. She's a butter pastel. The Chad actually named her. Her name's Orchid.
That's awesome.
She sits right with me, even goes around my Chihuahua pug, and they get along great. I know you really shouldn't have them around your pets, but they both want to be on me, so.
All my snakes go around dogs. Every single one.
Awesome.
Oh, that is a big corn snake.
Yeah, this is a 12-year-old male corn snake. This is Cheeto.
I'm gonna put her away. Or are you gonna have her on tonight?
I'm gonna have her on tonight if you can put her in a container. This is just a plain Jane 12-year-old corn snake. His name is Cheeto because we work with a lot of kids, and in the beginning, that was before we worked with the vet science programs, and we were exclusively working with special needs children, and everybody really reacted to him. He is super calm and cool. We have a question. Do you have any horror stories? I have horror stories from doing rescues.
Cool.
Yeah, I got some scary stuff that's happened in rescues, but not with the animals so much. We tend to be really calm and even paced, even when we get super defensive animals.
Right.
And I'm just super lucky, like having all the time at the zoo and working back in the day when things were a little different. Like we used to go swimming with our elephants in the pool after hours. So
Wow.
it was a different time. It was a different time. I'm not saying everything that happened that time was right, but it was a different time. There was one time we got called to go out and pick up something very simple, 2 leopard geckos. And so we answered the call. Somebody had called up. It was one of the very first ones we ever did, and didn't really know what we were doing yet or how to have our demeanor when we picked up animals. So we went out there. I believe it was the landlord said they had to get out, and so we went into a lower income area where there's nothing wrong with that, but we went in there, and I went in. Brenda stayed inside the car when I went in. The door was answered by like a 3.5-year-old little girl that was just, her face was dirty and she was wearing dirty clothes. And then her mother let me in, and her mother was obviously on something. I can't say what it was. It's a family show, but she was on something, and her boyfriend was pursuing that inside the bedroom. And it was just a rough thing. I went in there. You can see I get a little emotional. I went in there and gathered up the animals, and just having that little girl there really broke my heart. It really tore at my heartstrings seeing her be like that. So that was kind of rough for me, and so contacted law enforcement after that. But I've been in a few situations where I've been called to go pick up an animal that was supposed to be a surrender, and I would go there and somebody would have a few more animals, and they were all being kept really poorly, and then you have to turn on the salesman side or the really friendly side and get them to just donate all the animals to you. So that's always a rough thing. What do we got down here? Cheeto is a good-looking corn. Nice.
Yes, that's a lot bigger than I thought corn snakes got. So he's a big boy.
I don't think they get much bigger, and that's Dragon Layer. I think you're 100% right. I don't think they get much bigger than Cheeto. I've had 1 or 2 people say, yeah, I've got a corn that big at home, but most people are like, oh my gosh, what is that thing? He's super cool, and I've got one that's almost as big as him named Popcorn. He's a buttercorn snake, and he's all yellow. So he's pretty cool. He's a pretty amazing looking dude.
Have you ever, well, it's not really a fair question, but just curious, have you ever had to pay someone to get a reptile away from them?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I've
Yep.
done that with a few dogs and one cat I can remember, but I don't tell my group about it because it's a no-no, but, you know.
Yeah, I can't. I've had some pretty. It's pretty hard when you go to somebody's house, and you pick up an animal, and you're trying not to judge them. Like we have different things. We've learned a little bit about that, about picking up animals, so we don't do it exactly the same way anymore.
Right.
Are you leaving me? Where are you going now? Come on back here. We don't do it exactly the same way anymore, but there's been times literally where I've gone in and I picked up a 8-foot boa that was sitting in a 40-gallon breeder and 6 inches of waist. And they show me the boa and they tell me they're afraid of it and they say, "Can you get it out?" And I say, "Yeah, sure. Let me get him out." He just petrified. That's all that there was to it. But then they show me their brand new little baby boa that they got. So it's the same thing, I'm sure, in the dog world. There's irresponsible people everywhere in the world. And
Right.
you just try to
There
be the
is.
light. You just try to be the light and do the right thing.
I used to work or help actually as a volunteer at a grizzly bear sanctuary.
Okay.
And 2 of their grizzly bears, they were 3 years old, 3-year-old grizzly bears, and there was 2 sisters, and they were kept in a 6-foot dog crate.
Yeah.
Wow.
2 grizzly bears in a 6-foot dog crate
That's crazy.
when they rescued them. So people do really, really awful things to animals.
Yeah.
They absolutely do. And when I was in my prior life, when I was working at zoos, me and my buddy brought some muntjac deer. So this is kind of a funny story. I don't know if everybody like it, but I hope they do. I was a young buck. I was about 19 years old, and me and my buddy, zoos move animals from facility to facility for breeding or storage, or sometimes somebody has a little bit too much of one thing. And so we were moving these small Asian deer called muntjac deer. And these things only stand about maybe 2 feet high. Itty bitty thing. So we were in a regular van and we drove all the way down to Popcorn Park, New Jersey from Massachusetts, from Attleboro, Massachusetts. And when we got there, the Popcorn Park, New Jersey park was actually started because it was originally an animal shelter. And they found a tiger in a guy's house.
Wow.
So they took in the tiger and they built a facility for the tiger because there was nowhere for the tiger to go. Nobody wanted the tiger. And they ended up with a big African elephant and they ended up with all kinds of stuff. But you would be surprised what some people have in their houses and the areas they keep them in. It's crazy.
It's sad. Really sad.
But the good thing is there's people like you out there that help them, and there's people, like Pam that have volunteered at those places, and we're trying to do our little part over here. That's the light, right? That's changing it and bringing awareness and doing those good things.
Tiger snakes here in Taree. Huh.
You come say hi. Are you gonna come say hi?
Yeah. You gonna come say hi?
Go ahead, come say hi. This is little Otter Cross.
Hi.
Say hi. There
Get ready to get a sandwich?
She's already asking for food. She came in pointing
Yes,
at
she is. She's getting ready for a sandwich today.
What do you need?
We got these little chocolate spoons that you're supposed to mix in warm milk, and they make like different types of like hot chocolate. So she's excited about that.
Oh, I would be too. Wow.
Yeah, she's feeling real good.
I know that people are thinking, and they probably figured it out too. It took me a minute while you're not closer to the camera, but you would get your camera knocked over time after time by the snakes.
Absolutely, yeah. And I always give a little bit of room, especially, I guess it's just old habit. Sometimes I'll put a bearded dragon up there, or I'll put an iguana up there. or something like that. It adds a little bit of space for it. So I guess that's part of the reason too. But this way I can let everybody see what Cheeto looks like. And we can grab another one for y'all if you're all interested in seeing anything else. Or
Sure.
Oh yeah.
Where do you go? Where do you go when you're taking like therapy animals? Do you take them to like hospitals or nursing homes, or what do you do with it when you do that?
Yeah, a lot of it's like special education departments. That's the bulk of it. So working in schools, they've mostly been elementary schools with a focus on OT, occupational therapy. Sometimes we'll have people literally reach out to us. We had a gentleman with traumatic brain injury reach out to us. And the reason for him reaching out, which was really interesting, is he was trying to conquer all his fears. He had fallen off a second story area when he was doing construction, and he had gone through some really, really troubling mental problems and some damage to his brain. And one of his therapies that he made for himself is he was conquering all his fears. He jumped out of a plane. He released the gate for a bull at a bull riding event.
Oh wow.
And he contacted us and said, "Hey, we were referred to you. I want to meet some snakes." And so we had him come in here, and it took him a while to meet one. And then after that, he met a second one. And originally he was shaking. Like he was standing on one side of the room with me, like rubbing his back, telling him he's going to be okay. I got you. I'll protect you. By the end, he had Cheeto around his neck, and he was handling, a 5.5-foot python. And it was just cool. His name was Jose, and he ended up going out and went to a few events with us. And he was so cool while he still lives here.
What's that gorgeous thing?
So this beautiful thing is a ball python that suffered an incubation error. And I might have to take off the chat for a minute to make sure everybody can see her. She was born without eyes, a cleft kind of to the front top, not palate, but her entire face, half a tongue. So this is an animal that was set. I'm going to put it back the other way. You guys will just have to help me out a little bit to manage the chat, but hopefully you can see this a little bit. This is Sina, and she is absolutely beautiful and wonderful. And she's one of our girls that we helped out. We didn't want to see her be put down, and so we started working with her.
Apparently, that's not that uncommon for them to be born without eyes. I know somebody else that in Utah that just had that happen, but they kept her because everybody in the chat didn't want her to leave.
Exactly. Yeah, no, it's one of those things that it can be a common flaw or birth defect, especially if the heating isn't absolutely perfect. But she's a sweetheart. She's a sweet girl. She does well. We're taking care of her. She will be going to the Little Curiosities Children Museum in Maine once she gets a little bit better at taking her food. So as soon as that happens, she will go over to her new home and help educate some children up there in the state of Maine.
Well, I assume she has no clue she doesn't have eyes because I know ball pythons can't see that well. They can certainly see, but I think they track their prey mostly with their heat-seeking.
No, your heat pits is 100%.
And she has no tongue.
Yeah. So the problem with Sina is that she has malformed heat pits.
Oh, also.
So can you see them? How they're kind of an off shape there.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
Yep. And she only has half a tongue. So the two things that would normally bypass that, usually being born without eyes or one eye or losing an eye, that's not the end of the world for a ball python because bobs are 100% right on. They basically are heat-seeking little ambush hunters. But Sina, unfortunately, doesn't seem to have a good grip on the heat capability, and she's missing a portion of her tongue. So she's not able to grab those particles and bring them back in and, decipher them as well. So she is a little bit more detailed and nuanced. But yeah, a lot of them can learn to live 100% happy and do very well.
So she could be bred. I doubt that. I mean, someone would, but she could be because it's not a genetic thing. Then
Exactly. It is not a genetic thing. I wouldn't breed her. Can you guys see that my hands are all yellow from using betadine earlier on one of the rescues? I just realized that. I'm like, my hands are yellow. She could be bred in theory. I definitely wouldn't recommend to breed an animal like this. But yeah, it's not genetic. It literally corresponded with the power going out.
just asking you. You go live in a little bit, right? Like 5 minutes.
Normally, yes, sir.
Okay. Let me know when you got to go, because I can go on and on and on about snakes.
Oh gosh, that time went by so fast.
It did.
I want to see more of
It
your house.
did. We rocked through an hour. You guys are amazing. That's why.
I always ask people while they're on here to put the pressure on. No, so I have witnesses. We got to have you back a second time sometime.
We
Absolutely.
do because I'm just barely getting started and it's already time for you to go.
Dad.
Yeah, I talk too much. If you get me talking, I'll be like, well, I don't know if you like the story, but I'll tell you a story. I'll literally I'm one of those, I'll sit with you all day and I'll just sit there and we can just drink on the porch and I'll just talk to you till the cows come home. I'm one of them people.
That's what I love about your all stream. So, one question I was going to ask, if I've still got time, is what was your rescue today?
Ball python. You want to grab her? Do you guys want to see the rescue that came in today?
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah. We'll let you guys see her. That's why I got betadine on my hands. I'm not jaundice, which is some people gotta deal with that. But basically, whenever an animal comes in, we have a very specific order of operations. It's not micromanaged, but it's definitely a check mark scenario of, hey, the animal comes in. Bob, you guys probably have this at your facility where you have an intake procedure where they go through very specific steps.
yes.
Okay, cool. And I have a really bad habit of not always following my rules 100% and like putting the betadine in the water and then mixing it up with my hand, but then it ends up dyeing my hand. So every animal that comes in gets a visual check on it. We check for mites. We sex the animal. Once we sex the animal, for some reason, all the ball pythons come in with stuck shed. If you guys get a chance, if you want to, our video up on TikTok that we put up today shows that kind of the before and after. We address the shed to the best of our ability in the moment we can. We give them an antibacterial, antifungal soak, or it can be a mite soak if mites are an issue, and then we go from there. And so we have this like 4-step process, but of course I do all the steps, but I don't always follow them perfectly. There you go. Here's this little girl. She ain't got a name yet.
Is she?
Hold on, baby.
Hey, bug. Hey,
Is
beautiful.
she's not a normal or a classic, is she? She's got something else going on.
That's what I thought too. I don't know. To me, it looks like she has some lesser in her. You see almost that butter color to her.
Yeah.
She's got something going on in her. So we got her in, and this animal, you can see she's still got a little bit of stuck shed right here on her neck. So she's a little grumpy with me because we had to take some really badly stuck eye caps out. And we did that. We accomplished that. So she looks much better. So she still likes Brenda, but she's not a fan of this guy right now. But she's a good girl, and we'll get her right. And she will. I'm thinking she's going to be an adoptable. She's actually super calm.
So how do you take care of their eyes when they got a lot of layers stuck on them?
So I'll give them a soak. We give them a soak with betadine normally. Normally on my first soak, the soak goes about half the way up their body. They're going to sit in warm water, many times with betadine, or if it's really bad, we're going to put some mineral oil in it, very little bit. They sit in there for about 20 minutes, and then I'll actually use a cotton top applicator, a sterile one, if you ever worn contacts where you move it around a little bit when it first goes in, I end up doing that using very small movements with my with the applicator. Brenda's actually better at it because she has steadier hands, and I usually hold the animal. We'll move it around till we can kind of get a little bit of movement away from the edges. And then you do a rolling function with the applicator and you catch the edge of it. And as soon as it starts peeling up, then you can literally take it either with tweezers or something like that. There's beautiful mama. There you go. This is our first afternoon here, guys. So you roll it up and you literally very gently pull that stuck membrane off that eye. Because what can happen, and we see this with I would say 7 out of 10 ball pythons. Would you say that's a realistic application, babe, or with the stuck eye caps?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, about 7 out of 10 have that. And if you leave that skin on that eye, it will dry out. And when things dry out and lose moisture content, they get rigid and they contract. And they can cause ulceration to the cornea of the animal's eye. So eye caps are so important to get off.
Well, I'm really excited that she had her debut on this stream.
Yeah,
she did.
I don't even think she's gonna be on my live. So you guys got it. You guys got the good stuff.
All right.
You guys got that. I'm sorry, I talked too long. You guys asked me a question, and I'm like, let me tell you about when I was 13. I had a pedal bike.
She definitely has something going on there. I'll ask. Maybe Sam will do a clip for us, like that last little bit. He likes to do that to embarrass Pam and I. So surely he'll do it as an educational thing, and I can post that clip. Surely he will. All right.
So cool.
All right. There's your links again.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, he does an awesome job with that. Well, any other questions? I don't want to make these wonderful people too late to their live stream because I'm waiting for them to go live myself. Any last comments or questions? And Dragon Lair, thank you for your comments and education. And Sam, thank you for your questions. Always great when the chat participates.
Yeah, Dragon Lair, thank you so much. Yeah, I thought she looked pretty good too. She's not I'm gonna sound southern like when I lived in Tennessee, but she's not skinny or nothing. She's a good looking animal, and I think she's gonna make somebody a great animal. Quick backstory, like I said, I always say too much. She belonged to a teacher, an elementary school teacher. They used to bring her in and keep her in the classroom to change the stigma about reptiles. However, that teacher, she was a lovely lady. Her wife has stage 4 lung cancer. Is that what it is? Yeah. Lung cancer. And she just didn't have time to really address some of the things in her life. And she asked if we could help. And we said, of course. And we drove out and picked up the snake.
Hey, Mickham, I didn't know you were here lurking. Thanks for showing up with us. Some of these people are all over the world. I'm not kidding you.
That's awesome.
That's super cool. I love to have them here. I don't have any cobras. No king cobras. No cobras of any kind. We'll take in rear fang venomous. We won't take in front fixed fang venomous at all. I haven't applied for the permit, but 2, I want to keep them in my home with my daughter just because accidents can happen if I have a separate facility.
Exactly.
Yeah. I have safety, and the safety of the animals and the people come before anything else. I know people, and I can make a simple phone call at any time during the day and get them taken care of. Thank you for your question.
Yep, and it only takes a second to get bit, just a split second, So yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it can be absolutely crazy. Like I said, I've worked in a few different zoos and stuff like that. And luckily just meeting wonderful people online like y'all. A lot of people have shared different stories, and it is a liability where you have to be on point. And I have so many moving parts with the rescue. I just don't feel comfortable taking that on.
No, not at all. Do you ever do like a topic talk, like let's talk about a specific thing with reptiles?
I've done that more so in the videos where I've talked
Right.
about like quarantine setups, or somebody kept on asking me, "Hey, can you talk about womas?" Because woma pythons are becoming like really popular. And a lot of people talk about womas and they bring out their little 3 foot, 4 foot woma. I have a 6+ foot big male woma. So I'm like, yeah, I can show you how to handle them so that they calm down. I've done requests. I haven't done it on just a talk, but I'd be more than willing to do it on a talk, or even bring demonstrations and show people stuff. If that's something, like if you guys wanted me to come on and show you a
Definitely.
redirection with a snake that you don't normally handle, I'd be more than happy to come back another time and show you how to do so. And I'll get a kind of quick moving snake to do so.
I think we need you back, because this hour has gone by way
Yeah.
Well, that's because of you, Pam. You're amazing. It's not me, it's you. You got Bob.
Do you have a link already set up for your stream, or do you just go live?
I just go live.
Okay.
I act like a cowboy. I just jump on and I go.
Yeah, I do both. But anyway, I was gonna ask the mods Sam to post it there so we could find you. So
Okay. Yeah,
Good.
more milestones. I think we're the only one like us on TikTok. I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if anybody has any questions, by the way, about reptiles whatsoever, or just wants to throw something out, or ever need to just chat and have a rough day with a rescuing an animal or something, y'all can feel free to reach out either via the website or anything. I try to be as open as I can, especially when wonderful folks like you bring me on. Anybody needs anything, we are more than welcome to help or talk or just chat, like, hey, what's going on with my hog nose?
That's awesome. Not a lot of people are available for that, so that's amazing.
We're available, I would like to say 24 hours, but I hate liars. So we're available about 19 hours a day. But if you do reach out to us, I will get back to you if I don't pick up the phone.
One of us will.
It's going to be the smart one. The smart, pretty one is going to be in control.
Right. I want Brenda if I message.
That's the one you want to talk to, because she can get anything that you need out of me, and she
Right.
She won't tell you the story of her life every time you ask her a question.
She'll get me an answer. I'm going to say this is for Brenda. There is a clip there. I highlighted it that he made of that new rescue today with some good footage of it. So
Yes.
I'm going to share that around and see if that's all right with you.
Of course, you're more than welcome to share anything from our organization. It's out there, and everything we do is out there. I try to make everything PG and family friendly.
Right. Yeah, I've noticed that, and I like that. So that's cool. I mean, we cut up on Pam's late night stream sometimes, but that's late night, So, and all adults. But thank you so much. Thank both of you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
it's been a pleasure. And I will get with you soon to maybe to see what kind of topic you want to do and when you'd like to come back, because I always like to line guests up if I can, like a couple of weeks, just in case.
Awesome.
So thank you so much.
It was a pleasure, guys. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Thank you so much for having me and participating. I appreciate y'all. Thank you, Pam.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was wonderful, and I hope we get you back soon.
Definitely.
Absolutely, it'd be a pleasure.
And I will see you just as soon as you go live. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Bye-bye.
I appreciate you.
Thank you. Awesome. All right, we're out of here. And thank you, Sam, and the members and everybody in chat, and Pam on the panel.
Thank you, guys.